This is an overview of the event list widget by Unlimited Elements for Elementor. Today in the video, I'm going to show you how to use the event list widget together with custom post type and custom fields to populate the data inside of your widget, and later on connect those to all sorts of adject, filters, and pagination. Without no more further ado, let's jump in and get started. To get started, I'm going to search for the word event inside of my widgets pane and drag and drop the event list widget into my Elementor canvas. What this widget does, it shows your events in a list or grid kind of layout. And you can use many source types to populate the events on your website, and later on also connect these to filters, pagination, and show only future events that are occurring this week, and stuff like that. So this is sort of going to be an advanced tutorial where I'm going to show you how to create custom post types with custom fields. Then we're going to use those custom post types and fields to populate the event list widget. After we've done that, we're going to connect this to filters and pagination. So there's going to be a lot of stuff happening, but of course I'm going to start with the basic stuff and the basic usage for static data, and later on we're going to jump into dynamic data. So as you can see, we're seeing our events over here. Right now we have two events. Each event has an image, a title, a location, date, time, a price, and a URL button. Also, if we go over here into layout, we can also show description. So you can also add some text over here if you want to. Awesome. So this is how this looks like. And over here inside of general, we could, for example, change this to 2 columns, and then it will be in a 2-column layout. Of course, if we add more and more items, they will show underneath. And you can change it to any number of columns. This is a responsive field, as well as the gap between these is also a responsive field. So if you want to make the gap a little bit bigger, you could do that as well. At any given time, we can change the button text over here to whatever text that we want. For example, if your website is not an e-commerce website, then you can write over here, learn more, and then just users can read more about the events rather than buying tickets. This is for the layout. So as you can see, I can switch out the layout. For example, the calendar will be at the beginning, the image at the end, stuff like that. And as I showed previously, we can jump into layout and turn on or off each part of the elements over here. So for example, if your events don't have images, you can just turn that off. You can see how nicely that adapts. If you don't want to show the date twice over here, you could just change that to hide, and then we do not have that date. So that's how that works. I'm going to change this back to 1 column. And now we see it as a list. Next part over here is for entrance animation. So I'm going to change that to appear just so you can see. This is going to make the items appear gradually, one after the other, once the user scrolls to them. And another nice use case for using entrance animations, you will see later on that we're going to add filters. Each time the user will filter this, the entrance animation will occur again. Down here inside of icons, we have an option to change the icon for each part over here. And by the way, if the text is not populated, then the whole section over here will not show. So for example, if you do not have a location for each event and all the events are in the same location and you don't want this to show, you can just leave that empty and it will not show. So that's how that works. Pretty cool. Connected widget settings is for connecting remote controls or syncing to other widgets. This I'm not going to show in this tutorial, but we have a lot of examples. If you go to our website, unlimited-elements.com, then in the menu you can see features. We have over there remote controls or sync widgets. You can jump in and learn more about those. Now we've gone to the data over here, so it's a repeater field. We can delete items, duplicate items, add new items, and of course we can just click on an item to edit it. And this is pretty straightforward. So we can change the name over here. We have an image for each one of the events. Just as an example, I'm going to upload this Lion King poster. We can change over here to the Lion King, and we have the event location, so it's going to be Grand Theater, and we can select the date. So this is a date and time field. So up here we can change the years, we can go through the months, select the day, and then select the time. So that's how you do it over here. And you can see that it's showing the correct data over here. You can also show a price. So if your events are free, for example, you can just erase this and you can see that it's not showing. That's what I explained earlier. And if you want some description, as I showed earlier, you can turn that on inside of layout, and then the description will show under here. And really important, of course, is just to show a link over here. By the way, you can also add a badge. So if we'll populate the text over here, then we can see a badge added up here. So that's pretty cool for new events, popular events, expired events. You could show them that way. So that's pretty cool. And of course the link, if you want to link it to somewhere, we can override the background color if we want to highlight one of the events in the list. If you want to revert this, you just do clear, and it takes the general setting for the style. So that's about the items over here. And this is in case you have static data. As I said earlier, this is going to be an advanced tutorial where I'm going to show how to add custom post types, which is really important, by the way. If you're just starting to use WordPress and you're not familiar with it, this is going to be really interesting for you. So just to finish off the general settings over here and the style, just to show you can change about anything. I mean, if you want the item radius, you can make that rounded. You can really go over each element, the title, the attributes over here. These are called attributes. So if I'll go over here and I want them to show one under the other rather than showing them one next to each other, then you can change that. If we want to make our image bigger, we'll change the width over here and the height, and maybe less rounded. Let's make it rounded like that. Let's make the width a little bit bigger even. So that's how you can change that. And the attributes over here, we can make less spacing. So you can really edit anything and make it look exactly the way that you want to. So that's for the first and simple part of the tutorial over here. Now the next part, I'm going to show two different tools. So I'm going to jump into my WordPress dashboard, and we're going to install two plugins. I have them already installed, but I'll show you how they look like in the plugins over here. So you're going to need to go into plugins, add new. I'm sure you're familiar with this. And the first one is called custom post type. So I'm going to search for custom post type, and the exact name is custom post type UI. This is the icon. This is how it looks. Has 1 million active installations, and this is going to allow you to sort of add, as you have posts and pages, you can add another sort of folder over here which will have only the posts that are relevant, because I guess most of you are using posts for your blog posts on your website. but maybe you have also events, as we're going to show today, or movies, concerts, stuff like that, webinars that you want to present, and you don't want them to be mixed up with the blog posts on your website. So that's why we use this. And then the next plugin that you're going to need is Advanced Custom Fields, which is called ACF usually. And this is how it looks like. It has 2 million active installations, and I'm going to go over that as well. So the first part is for adding our custom post type, and this might sound complicated from some of you, but it's really actually easy. We need to only add 3 fields over here. So the first one I'm going to call event. Now this is a really important one because this is going to affect the URL of the specific events at the end of the day. And so you're going to want to make sure that you don't have any spelling mistakes. It needs to be lowercase without any spaces because it's going to show in the URL at the end. And that's about it. So it's going to be for events. And over here it's a plural label, so we're going to call it events, and a singular one, so it's going to be event. Over here it's important to use caps lock and the way that you want to show grammar wise. So I'm going to click add post type, and it's added a post type over here. So as you can see, I don't even need to refresh. Once you just click add post type, you can see a new post type over here, which is pretty awesome. Now the next part, what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump back into the CP2, the custom post type UI plugin, and I'm going to click add edit taxonomies. Now I'm going to add a custom taxonomy, so I'm going to call it event type. And over here we can write event type and event type. Over here it can be types because it's plural. And that's about it. I'm going to click add taxonomy. It asks me to which post type I want to associate it with. So of course I'm going to associate it with the events that we've just added. And I'm going to click add taxonomy. Now I'm going to jump into events, and I have an option to add event types. I'm going to have 2 types of events in my website. The first one is going to be movies. So I'm just going to write over here movies and add new event type. And the second one is going to be concerts. And I'm going to click add new event type. So I've added my taxonomies. The next part is for starting to add my events. So I'm going to go to all events. As you can see, there are no events. I'm going to click add new, and I'm going to add an event. So right now I have only a field to add the name, some text if I want about the movie itself or the event, and a featured image. So let's select the poster over here, and I'm going to click publish. Now what I'm missing right now is the option to add some custom fields. So I need a place for event location, event price, event date, and I need a place for each one of those. So that's what we're going to do now. This is called Advanced Custom Fields. Once you install the Advanced Custom Fields plugin, this is going to show over here in the menu as custom fields. So I'm going to click custom fields, and I have a couple of field groups already, but we're going to add one that's relevant only for our event. So I'm going to click add new, and I'm going to call it events. Now it's asking me, where is this going to show? In a post type that is equal to, not to posts, but to events. This is the new post type that we've just added. So I'm going to choose that. And now I can start adding fields. So add a field. And the first one is going to be a simple text field. So I'm going to add a label, and the name is populated automatically. And down here, I'm going to click add a new field. The next one is going to be for event price, which is similar. It's going to be a simple text field, and I'm going to add a new field. And the last one is going to be for the event date and time. So I'm going to call it event date. And over here, I need to choose a date time picker. So that's really important. And down here, it's asking me how we want the format to be coming back to us. And it's really important over here to select this option over here, because this is how we want the format of the date to come back. And I'm just going to copy this because we're going to use this format later on when we're going to use the advanced advanced post selection. So I've added 3 fields: event location, event price, and event date, which is going to be with time together. And I've told it to show only in the post time, which is events, which is the new post type that we've added. I'm going to publish this. And now, when I'm going to go back to the event, and I'm going to edit the event that I've added previously, we have 3 new fields over here. So the first one is for the location. So I'm going to write over here London Theater. The event price. So we're going to write over here how much this movie costs. And the event date. So over here, I'm going to select, let's select the future date. And of course, if you want to change the time, you can change the time over here. So we've added our event. And now over here, you can see also we have the custom taxonomy that we've added earlier. So now I need to associate this with sort of the category. So I selected that over here, and I'm going to click update to save this. So let's go back to the list, and now I need to start adding more and more items. Now I'm going to add about 10 more of these, so I'm just going to speed up the video after I've added them, and then we'll continue from there. Okay, so now I'm back and I have all these events that I've added to my custom post type called events. Now I'm going to jump back into the editor over here, and I'm going to refresh, of course, because we've made a lot of changes. And now instead of populating my event list widget with static data, I'm going to add the custom post type over here. So instead of item source, I'm going to change this to post. Now it's going to add all sorts of posts over here. And right now it's just taking my general post, my blog post over here, which is not what I want at all. So to show the correct type of posts, I need to go into item post query. And over here in the post type, I need to change this to events, which is the custom post type that I've added. And now you can see that it's showing the correct events. And the title over here is correct. The image, the featured image is correct, but the other data is incorrect. It's just showing the static data. And that's the next part I'm going to show, how you can show the correct data over here. So over here in source, I'm going to go over the different sources. So location, it's asking me where to take, what field to take the location for. And it's suggesting all sorts of fields. But the field that we want is a post meta field because it's a custom field that we've added with ACF, with the advanced custom field. And over here, what we need to do is put the name. And now we've added event underscore location, and it's bringing in the correct location for each one. The same thing we're going to do for the date. So it's going to be a post meta field, and instead of event location, it's going to be event date. And now you can see that it's showing the different dates over here. The next part is for the price, so it's really similar. We're just going to write over here event underscore price, and you can see instead of 18, it's showing the different prices that we've populated inside of the different posts. So last one is for the link. We can just link that to the post URL, so the link will work as well. And we're all set. So this is completely dynamic data. Now, showing a long list over here. So let's make two changes. The first change is going to show this into 2 columns, which looks good. And I actually want to show only 4 each time. So I'm going to go into item post query. And over here, I'm going to change the maximum number of posts to 4. Awesome. So we got that set up. And the next part that I want to set up is the filters and pagination. So we need to go into post pagination and filtering. And I'm going to select over here, use the pagination widget and enable post filtering. We got that set up. And now we can add a new widget, which is called post pagination. Let's drag and drop that inside. And this is just going to work out of the box. I mean, I don't need to do anything. I just save the page, preview the page, and we already have Ajax pagination. If you guys don't know what Ajax means, that means it's not loading, reloading, refreshing the page. This is happening on the page. And check that out, how nicely this works together with the entrance animation. So that's pretty cool. Another cool filter or tool we can add, which is called the search filter, which is just a free text filter. So I'm just going to drag and drop that onto the page, going to preview the page, and now you can just write over here, for example, matrix, and I'm going to click search, and it's going to show only the posts that equal to that query. So I hope you guys kind of learned a little bit more about WordPress, Elementor, and how you can use those with unlimited elements together with 2 other plugins, Advanced Custom Fields and Custom Post Types. I want to thank you guys for being so patient and joining me today, and I'll see you in the next video.